It's Jurassic Park Operation Genesis! Hey guys, and welcome back. In this part, I am glad to say that we will actually be finishing up our objective here. We're not actually finishing the park just yet, but we will finally complete our objective. We are finally going to get to that 70%. We're going to get the other dinosaurs out. So not a lot really happened in the previous video. You know, disease struck, that was the most exciting thing. But this time, this is where the action really is.
Hello.
I mean, there's not a lot of action. We get another disease, we get more dinosaurs out, that's about it really.
Hello.
Look at that fun. If it was fun, this would be super easy. That thing is at nearly 100% fun. Thrills might be a struggle. I believe in this part, this is also where I finally decided that, you know, I should probably start going after the Parasaurolophus DNA. Yeah, it's so close. Because that's, you know, you're not gonna get told when you're there. You know, if you haven't got all the other dinosaurs out yet, you may have it or you may not. You don't know. If you have got all the other dinosaurs out, then you'll know that that's what gets you the, that's what completes it.
No problem.
Parasaurolophus doing well. So I can say in this now. We're going to lose quite a few dinosaurs in this part, but this time the problem is not a twister. I haven't had any more twisters strike yet, but we are going to lose quite a few dinosaurs.
Urgent message from Dr. Wu.
Especially these guys, because they have such small lifespans. It's saddening, really. What am I getting at? Growth booster. Okay. Gets the dinosaurs out of the hatcheries faster. If there's one thing that I'm so glad this game has, that one thing this game doesn't have that Evolution does, it's the power thing. Because that gets so annoying. It's like every single building needs to have power. I mean, that makes sense, but at the same time, it's just all your buildings need to have be connected to a path, and that's the bit I really don't know. Why do they need a path? You already have pylons and substations all over the place. Why do they also need to be connected by a path? I mean, yeah, where else are your guests going to go? They can't cope without the path, but still. It's like, why does that require power? And in many cases, it's a question of, why does this thing in particular need power? Like, why does they've recently added toilets to the game. Why does the toilet need power? Is it the lights? Is that what it is? Is there lights in the building? That makes sense, actually. You know what? I'll go with that. It needs light. What's more interesting is how a tiny building like that can hold 1,200 guests, I think it goes up to. It's a tiny building. Yeah, so I finally decided to put my guests in Morrison Formation B. Morrison Formation A, so we can finally start going after Parasaurolophus. I got my DNA for Brachiosaurus way higher now. They should live for up to a year. Unfortunately, Brachiosaurus is also going to be required for the next objective. The next exercise is probably going to be longer than this one because you need to get 100%. You need, well, not 100%, but you need to get DNA for a lot more dinosaurs, and 3 of them are 5-star dinosaurs, which means that you're going to be waiting forever to get that amount of DNA. Because you need Brachiosaurus, you need Tyrannosaurus, you need Velociraptor. It doesn't matter how many specimens we've found of the actual dinosaur. The higher the rating, the rarer it is. I mean, in Brachiosaurus' case, we found 1 skeleton. We found 1 set of fragmentary remains. Maybe 2, I'm not sure. It's known from hardly anything now that we know that the African one is Giraffatitan. Even then, I don't know how many specimens of that we have. The Tyrannosaurus is known for quite a lot of remains. Velociraptor has been the best preserved of all the dromaeosaurs. We found over a dozen remains, many of which are quite complete. We've even found one with it locked in combat with a Protoceratops, but none of that means anything. Whereas rarer dinosaurs like Gallimimus, I think, and Homalocephalae, way easier to come across. It doesn't matter how common they are. I mean, evolution is worse in that regard. Look at all these unhappy faces. Evolution is even worse with that. Because it's like a dinosaur that is known from just one incomplete specimen. And all of a sudden you can just dig that dinosaur up alone in one dig site. That's like the weird thing with like Parasaurolophus. It's known from pretty much one crushed skull and a few other bones. You can just find loads of them in this one area. Especially weird when the game also tells you that it's known from one specimen. But I guess that's like the real life information. How is it that my guests are now happier up here than they are down there? If there's one thing that does get annoying when it's just a normal rain like this, is that you can frequently hear this weird sound effect. I have no idea what it's supposed to be. It's like this sort of weird sort of sound. I don't know if it's supposed to be a bird, an insect. It almost sounds like a malfunctioning camera. And I have no idea what's making that noise. It just does it every few seconds. Only when it's like this. Only in the standard rain. So, I don't know. But this is where my guests really start complaining that my park is filthy. And I don't know why. There's nothing dirty here. I have 2 cleaner stations. I have 10 cleaners. And they are all... So many of my guests are just complaining that things are dirty. Look at all this. You can see the state of the buildings. They're all fine. The only one that gets mildly dirty are the toilets. So... I don't know, and I was keeping an eye on this guy just to see if he'll make it to that rest area. He doesn't. He eventually turns around. So Joshua here, he's very close, but unfortunately his happiness just runs out before he gets there. And now he's going home. I thought you were tired. There's a rest area right there, you idiot. Can't see past their noses. And they've barely got noses. Actually, I don't know about the Xbox, so on the PC version, I think there's like way more variety in the guests. There's like different designs of them. They actually make noises. These are not worth extracting from Morse Information A, because we've already... It could be Ceratosaurus, but if it ends up being Stegosaurus or Dryosaurus, you've wasted it. Just sell them at this point. Shut up, world.
Urgent message from Dr. Sattler.
And here we go again. Ticks this time. They're back in full force.
Urgent message from Dr. Sattler.
Yes, thank you, mail. We get that. Let's go. I'm not really sure. I still don't get how shooting a dinosaur with the dart gets rid of ticks, but hey, it works. Let's go for you first. Oh, you're sneezing. Poor girl. Put your head down. There we go. That'll make you feel much better. You as well? So we have a couple of Stegosaurus as well. These ticks are relentless. Unfortunately, what I keep forgetting is that there's a little counter up in the corner that tells you how many dinosaurs are still ill, and I completely miss it. One of my Dryosaurus does die. After one of them very narrowly escaped death in the previous part, it doesn't work here. And one thing is that little like health icon, the disease icon, that just comes and goes whenever it wants to. So you couldn't see it while I was hovering around the enclosure. I'm really struggling with shooting this, and so I thought I was done. Completely ignoring the one target that's up in the corner there. And it only shows up when you're in the helicopter.
You can't let this go on.
So unfortunately even that didn't tell me. I don't think I've ever had diseases strike this close to each other so fast.
Good choice.
It's like I only just sorted out diseases in like the end of the last quarter or the one before it. I don't think I've ever had diseases strike so quickly after another one. If you want to make life easier for you, you can also get the... Is this where I got the fountain? Yeah, I did. There is also the hatchery immunizer. It takes a while, but it's really useful. Because it means that every dinosaur will become immune to a disease that you don't. Every dinosaur will become immune to a disease that you have researched. You can also have your rangers immunize the dinosaurs. It's weird. You can't shoot the dinosaurs that aren't sick. You can't shoot them with the medical darts. But you can order your rangers to do it in order to immunize them against a disease. So that's what I would often do with the carnivores. I would immunize them against rabies. Particularly the big ones and Velociraptor. The small carnivores as well as Gallimimus, they can all get rabies. We don't want to activate that.
Welcome back.
And it's not really that much of a problem with them, because while it does cause them to collapse, they won't go on a rampage. Whereas the big carnivores and Velociraptor, they do go on a rampage. That river is in the way, damn it. I can't build anything there. Navigating these menus can be a bit awkward. How on earth did I miss that? Now it's too small. Luckily, space is not something your dinosaurs really have to worry about, which is weird, because you think if there's one thing that dinosaurs would fear, it was space. Because that's where asteroids fall from. Of course, they don't really know that. So let's get the Parasaurolophus out, drain all my money again.
Okay.
You know, yeah, and this is where I found out, oh, one of them died. It looks like that other one is eating it. I know he's only drinking, but it looks like the other Dryosaurus is eating it. Is it like a hippo? There is footage of them eating meat. That's the case with the hippo, and I'm sure there was footage of a hippo
Ladies
eating
and
meat.
gentlemen, we are pleased to announce the debut of our newest attraction, Parasaurolophus. Please enjoy the playful antics of this gentle herbivore.
So we have our new dinosaur. Two ways of pronouncing this thing's name. Some call it Parasaurolophus, some call it Parasaurolophus. That's how I first heard it, so that's typically what I call it, Parasaurolophus. Either way works, and next door is playing his music really loudly again, and I freaking wish that he didn't keep doing that. What I will say, however, is that the Parasaurolophus in this game, oh my god, they're so adorable. I love them. Why am I not hovering? I'm too busy distracted by my guess. But they're so adorable in this game. How are they still complaining when I have all of these cleaners? Look, I have all of these cleaners, and you're telling me that my park is still dirty. Look at this guy, Murray. How does it just? Is there just like a random name generator programmed into this game? This guy is called Murray, which I'm going to pronounce as Murray. So Murray. It's just I was loving that when I first saw it. I was like, how on earth did that happen? Okay, guys, I will give you guys a feeder. Especially when there's going to be like 8 of you in here. They're so adorable. Look at their little faces. And the sounds they make. These are easily my favourite herbivore in the game. I love the Parasaurs in this game because they're so adorable. Oh, they're inside each other. None of you mind. You're too adorable. You deserve it. You're also like the only Hadrosaur in this game whose mouth is not permanently open, which now that that's been pointed out to me, I cannot stop thinking about it.
What should we do here? Okay.
And I love the sounds they make. Yeah, okay, so we do get Acrocanthosaurus high enough. We won't be making any Acrocanthosaurus in this park, I will say that now. But they're just so unbelievably adorable. Unfortunately, you guys are on the verge of death. That's where I also suddenly remembered, wait, let's make another Dryosaurus. We don't actually need to, but let's make another Dryosaurus.
Message from Dr.
I think I actually did just have it then, the 70% thing. Yeah, no, I didn't go. I might have just not have gone down far enough, but because when it does happen, I have no idea if it's because I got to the the 70% authenticity lasts, or if it's just when the last Torosaurus comes out. You can now research a fountain. It's not necessary for anything. It's supposed to soothe your guests, but I never put them down really, so I don't know. Yeah, I think I decided to go for something reasonably cheap here, just because I knew I was going to lose a lot of money on the Torosaurus. Storm, sun, storm. Why do I get so many? Why are so many of my guests called Nadine? Well, at least I can sell the gold, and yeah, this is why I ever noticed. Oh, their health is going down. At the very least in this game, you can get a better idea of how long they'll live. One thing that really bothers me in Jurassic World Evolution is how long your dinosaurs live for. Because it might say that a dinosaur can live to be, say, 70. And now sometimes they will die when they reach 70. Other times they'll go a bit further. They'll maybe get 76 or something like that. Other times they might get to like 100. I've even had dinosaurs that have lived twice the length of their expected lifespan. Like they will say they will live to be 70. Oh, this dinosaur has died at the age of 150. So that does happen. They sometimes it's like your dinosaurs are just immortal, while other times they will die the moment they reach their expected lifespan. And that is really annoying in challenge mode especially. Because your dinosaurs just keep dying and dying and dying because you hatched a load of dinosaurs out at once because that's what you need to do. It's a particular problem I find with Dilophosaurus because they don't live for a great amount of time. You hatch out, you can have up to 12 of them in an enclosure, so you hatch out 12 and then gradually you get like, you have to wait for your 12 Dilophosaurus to die. And you can end up with like 2 of them dying in the course, like 2 or 3 of them dying in the course of a minute. Then you can go 5 minutes with nothing dying. Then 1 dies, 2 minutes later, another 3 die. It's all over the place, especially when you release different dinosaurs at different times and they all have different lifespans. You see what I mean? They just fall down and die. So that's both the Brachiosaurus. So we've got 1 out, ready to go. We've got the Dryosaurus sedated. Oh no, we have both of them ready to go. Okay. You can do this yourself as well. Okay, boss. And now we can move them. Weirdly, and I guess it's just a programming error, or just a lack of programming maybe, you can transport dinosaurs when they're sleeping. They don't need to be sedated. You can simply transport your dinosaurs while they are sleeping. And this transportation method makes no sense whatsoever. Firstly, where is that coming from? What is that attached to? I can hear a helicopter, but you can never see it. Secondly, time freezes while you're doing this. It's the rain keeps going and the water keeps going, but everything else remains completely still. So we're using chaos control whenever we sedate whenever we're transporting a dinosaur. It's the annoying thing with herbivores. Even when you sedate them, they sort of lie down, they keep their heads up for a bit, and then they go to sleep. Only the herbivores do that. The carnivores go straight down. Ah, we're decapitating it. We're decapitating it. So luckily this thing can go, not only go through the ground, it can go through a Brachiosaurus as well, but it's capable of still holding them in place, and I put this down in the wrong place. Right in front of the Land Cruiser. That was stupid. So I do end up having to move it out of the way, just because that Land Cruiser is not going to go anywhere for a while. Your dinosaurs, they take a while to wake up. Evolution is even stranger. In Jurassic World Evolution, you can sedate a dinosaur, just like normal. They will fall over in very ridiculous ways. Ways that really should kill them. But they will never wake up unless you move them. Unless you can sedate a dinosaur, don't do anything, and then after a few minutes it'll wake up. In Evolution, it never comes round. It just remains sedated until it dies. Eventually it'll die of hunger or thirst, and it will just... And you have to transport it, even if it just means transporting it right next to it. So it's a very slow process just trying to get them to wake up. I don't know why that's the case, but that's how it works. It also does all of that in real time as well. So every time you're transporting the dinosaur,
I'm glad you've stopped by.
the thing does keep everything is still going. Time doesn't freeze. Anyway, luckily the Dryosaurus I don't think is in the way of anything.
Thanks for stopping by.
I go for the viewing demo. I don't know why I closed it. That was a bad idea. The Pterodon, the Dinoplaydome.
Message from Dr. Wu.
How have I got 65% thrills out of this thing? There's no carnivores inside. The only carnivores are Dilophosaurus, and they're at the other end of the entire park. I went for the Dinoplaydome.
What should we do here?
And there we go. We have 100%ed Torosaurus already.
Greetings.
Things are finally coming together. We've got a 4-star park. We've got just 3 dinosaurs left to go. Eventually these Brachiosaurus will disappear. In evolution, it tries to emphasize that you can move the dead dinosaurs. You can remove them from the enclosure. Because that's supposed to help with not spreading disease. I don't know if they actually do spread disease. They will disappear over time, but you can do it faster. Because let's face it, nobody wants to see the sight of a dead dinosaur in your enclosure.
Message from Dr. Wu.
Found nothing already. Come on, get me those Ceratosaurus fossils. Finally, my guests are all starting to get way more satisfied. And that's when it starts showing the Jurassic Park logo above their heads. It's all starting to come together. I can't tell if they're running away from the sound of the horn or if it's the helicopter flying over from the other to the second park entrance, because that does happen. They will get scared of the arrival helicopter. Unfortunately, I can never predict what direction the helicopter is going to go, so sometimes they just have to deal with it. So the dinosaurs will get scared of it every now and then as the helicopter comes in to land and then as it leaves again. I randomly opened up the manager menu then. I don't know why I did that. So the moment I closed it the first time, I was just like, why did I go into the manager menu?
Yep.
Alright, let's get these Torosaurus out. The dinosaurs price doesn't really depend on what it is. It's just like, what's its rating and its size. That's all that matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to announce the arrival of our newest dinosaur, Torosaurus. This feisty herbivore from Cretaceous, USA, will entertain everyone.
Alright, we haven't seen you for a while. We briefly saw you back in Dinosaur Origins. You're cute. You're not as cute as Triceratops. Your frill's a bit ugly. But generally you're alright. But you have nothing on the Parasaurs. But yeah, weirdly it costs the same amount to make a Torosaurus as it does a Camarasaurus, which doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Right. One way you can also get the authenticity up, you can put Ceratosaurus in this enclosure as well. I wouldn't recommend it, because it won't attack your large herbivores, or at least the Camarasaurus. It might go for the Stegosaurus, but it will kill the Dryosaurus for certain. But the Stegosaurus can also kill it. So, not recommended. But it is there to help you out. We don't have Ceratosaurus yet, so there's not really a lot we can do about it.
I'm glad you've stopped by.
It's so close. It's either there. I don't know if it's the Torosaurus coming out or the authenticity that gets me that gets it completed. But there we go. This is a great result for InGen. Your park is a huge success. Feel free to continue managing this park, or head back for some other challenges InGen has waiting for you. You'll say that last part at the end of every single exercise. Even the last one, even though InGen doesn't have any more challenges waiting for you. But that's it. We've finally completed Open Range Safari. However, we have not reached our 5-star thing yet. We still have a whole other star to gain. We've still got 2 more dinosaurs to get into this park. And what? I am not finishing things off until those 2 dinosaurs are in this park. And until we have reached that 5-star rating. Your efforts this quarter are acceptable, but not remarkable. I just finished your objective! I have just done everything you've required me to do. Everything on your objective list. And I've just been told that my park is a huge success, and now you think that I am satisfactory, acceptable, but not remarkable. Is that right, Ludlow? I hate Ludlow. This game made me hate him. I never really paid much attention to what he did in The Lost World. This game made me hate Ludlow. Are you guys all complaining that the park is dirty again? Yes, they are. I have 3 cleaner stations in this park. This is where I decided, right, we're getting rid of everything on the other side. At least because I got like a bunch of cleaners down here that aren't doing anything. It's time to get rid of all of this stuff. Once I hover over the demolish thing. You don't get any money back from the paths, but you do get half the amount back from what you've built for everything else. You have got to keep an eye out for anyone walking down here, because if you get rid of the path, your guests and your cleaners get lost. It's like this guy now, he's going to get lost and he's not going to be able to find his way back. And that's just weird, because Claire gets lost as well. But usually, when your guests are stuck like this, the helicopter begins automatically going to rescue them. That never happened here. I was so confused. I don't think you can rescue your staff for some reason, so Khalil is stuck here. Your station is literally right there. And yet you can't find your way back. And I've got like 2 other cleaners that are lost. And she's fine. Normally, the helicopter would now be coming to rescue her automatically. That never happens. Unfortunately, since I can't rescue my staff, because Jurassic Park is an awful place to work, I end up having to rebuild the path just to let everyone back. And now we've got a storm happening again. Hey, look, flying dinosaurs. So let's wait for this guy to walk away, turn around. I wasn't sure where the others were. And eventually they find their way back. And technically they're not classified... Really? Really? Technically they're not classified as being on the path until they're right in the middle of it. So you can get... They can be on the path, then you can get rid of it. But they'll still get lost for a brief moment. They usually find their way back, but occasionally they do get stuck there. But again, that's normally when the helicopter goes and rescues them, but it decided not to do that this time. So let her stop walking, and then we can just eventually, just very slowly work our way up. Eventually. And just hope that nobody else walks down. Which luckily I don't think anybody did. We can build the balloon sword. We're going to be making strong use of that later on. So let's get our hatchery immunizer. At the very least that means that the Acrocanthosaurus shouldn't be a problem with the rabies. Unless I decide just to pump them out. Yeah, this is as far as I've recorded so far. So they may end up still getting rabies. I don't know. Come on, dude. Get out of the way. Alright, well, anyway, this is where the part ends. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But, yeah, so even though we have completed our main objectives, we still have to get to... We still have to get to 5 stars. We've still got to get out the Ceratosaurus and the Acrocanthosaurus. And then that will be it. That will officially get us up to 5 stars, and then we can move on to the next objective. And that's everybody out of the way now. So let's actually go this time, shall we? There we go. Hopefully they can all start working down on the other side for a bit. I've never had this much issue with people complaining about a park before. Alright, well, we shall end things off here, so I will see you guys next